All right, hello everyone. Petr again with another interview here. Today I don't really have a famous Magic player, but I have someone who worked in coverage. Even when I, for example, was paired against Brett Nelson, the Pro Tour, Tobi was sitting right there and was writing a coverage about that. So I just thought it would be an interesting person to talk to. I don't really see you that much lately, but before, when I played a bunch of GPs and stuff, even I actually met you at one of the card market series. We saw each other all the time. So I don't know, how are you? Hello.
Hey, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yeah, I guess I'm good. I mean, the Corona age isn't great, but besides that, I'm doing all right, I think.
Yeah, Magic has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, that must actually kind of suck for a guy like you. Maybe you weren't into that much recently, but for people like you who just travel to all these tournaments and stuff, it must be awful that everything is canceled.
Yeah, I think in 2018, I was at events 25 weekends.
Yeah, so quite a bit of a change. So how long were you actually doing the coverage thing? Because as long as I can remember, you were always kind of there. So when did it start?
Yeah, it kind of started I got into doing coverage basically when I stopped playing myself. I had an opportunity to do German language coverage for a website called Planet MTG that I was
I don't
working
even
for
know
at
that.
the
Yeah.
time. No, it's but it used to be quite a big player. Like we had a coverage team at the European GPs, I think in 2006, 2007, doing some German language coverage. And when that opportunity kind of closed down, Wizards was also looking for people to work on their GP coverage, which at the time obviously was text, although
What time are we
Rich.
talking? Is it 2008 or something like that?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think my first assignment for Wizards was in 2007 or 2008, and from there, obviously, GP coverage grew quite a bit with the advent of video coverage at most of the shows, and eventually all of them, until things took a downturn in 2019. And yeah, during that time, I think I did about 100 shows for Wizards.
Was it just European GPs at the beginning, or were you just at the Pro Tours since the beginning, or you just eventually got there?
Oh, it kind of was the GPs was obviously because there were so many more was most of what I was doing, and then sometimes sporadically I was also invited to the Pro Tours. It was obviously Wizards had a pool of I don't know 50 or even more people who were on their coverage team for the various regions, and you'd only get invited to the international events once in a while.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually don't really know how the work goes. Is it just that the tournament starts, you just pick a feature match, and then you just write about it, or can you just maybe talk about it? Because for people like me who never really done something like that, we just have no idea what is it all about. So if you can talk about your work that you done.
Oh yeah, in the beginning it used to be when I started, GP coverage meant text coverage. So it
There were just
really
no video.
only was text coverage, everything that we put out. So except for maybe some photo slideshow or something like that. So it was we were back then we were supposed to do a feature match every other round and stuff like that. But eventually it turned out that reading feature match reports wasn't something that people actually did that much. Obviously, they were people were always clamoring for more feature matches in the hope that they'd get a feature match report of people or decks that they were actually interested in. But when you looked at the click numbers on written feature matches, they always were kind of dismal. And then, of course, when
I'm actually interested about that. Like, how many click, for example, if I don't know, like a famous player like Martin Yuzal played against someone, how many people clicked on that written feature match? If you can say that.
I don't even have exact numbers. However, like the big thing of text coverage always was deck lists. So people were interested in obviously the decks that were doing well, but you'd always get those anyway. So top 8 deck lists, for instance, but also interesting deck lists. Just any kind. So rather doing a little interview with someone who was playing some weird brew would perform better than an actual feature match report.
Were you sometimes missing the fact that you weren't actually playing the tournament because, you know, you travel to all these GPs and you just sit at the table and you see the people being super into the games? Were you like sometimes thinking, oh, I wish I would like sitting there instead of writing it, or were you just like enjoying it?
Oh, I enjoyed it quite well. Like I had been through that. Like I played a bit of Magic. I wouldn't call that professionally, but
Do you have like any successes? Do you have any successes yourself at tournaments?
Nah, but I won one GP.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that. Wow.
And I qualified for 10 Pro Tours or something, but that was all between 2004 and 2000 and I don't know, 7, 8, something like that. But I eventually realized that I didn't have the mental stamina, let's say, to really compete at the highest level. For instance, I never even cashed any of the Pro Tours.
Oh, I see. Are you still doing anything like this connected to Magic, or is that over? Like, how is it with you right now?
I actually got an awesome opportunity. I'm currently working for cardmarket.com.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm running the
just sorry to interrupt. Most people in Europe know Card Market, but it's just like the huge site that you can trade on. A lot of the people in Europe buy cards and sell cards on Card Market, so I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it's not as known in the US, but I believe it might actually be the biggest trading card platform in the world. And yeah, we also have like a little article program where we publish articles Monday through Friday, and I'm currently running that. Before that, I was also working on coverage for the Card Market series, and that is how I got into that. So yeah, even though I never actually made a lot of money playing Magic, I think I've always made my money through Magic in that regard.
That's awesome. There are actually not that many people who can say that, you know. Just like, you know, focus on Magic, and you know that's what we do. But the people like you who know what you're doing, there's actually not that many of them, so you know, it's awesome to hear.
It's a weird combination of skills that I have developed over these years. Like I'm doing this for a long time, writing about Magic, and there are very few people who are actually good at reasonably good at playing the game, but also about writing about it. And it's
during the time when you were doing the coverage on like GPs and stuff, and maybe like even now when you're like running the website and stuff, I assume that you still have to like somewhat play the game so that you can like understand what people are doing and stuff. How much did you always like play? For example, when there was a GP coming up, like did you just play for, you know, bunch of hours just before the GP, maybe with like all the decks and stuff, or maybe you like watch video footage so that you understand the interactions and stuff? Like, you know, can you maybe talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I always played at least a little bit. I usually didn't play all of the decks, but I
Yeah, I mean,
played
I maybe.
against many of the decks. When I was very active for Wizards, I used to have one of those neat little Magic Online God accounts that had all the cards
Yeah.
on it, and that obviously couldn't enter tournaments, couldn't win prizes, obviously couldn't trade away those cards, but it allowed me to play quite a bit. And yeah, for instance, I played a lot of Crackland Ironworks when that was still around. I quite enjoyed that. Most recently, I've gotten to play on MTG Arena, because that is also free to play, essentially. I also maintain a collection there, and for, I don't know, for the past 10 months or so, I always managed to at least qualify for the qualifier weekend.
Yeah. I actually got asked this question a lot of people. When we say Magic, do you perceive it as just like the cards itself, like the card game with the actual cards, and Arena or Magic Online as like a side thing that, you know, maybe you do when you're home, or you like maybe Arena more? Like which one do you like more? Like, what do you think about it? Do you maybe think that the actual card game can go away and we just switch completely to computer game? Like, what do you think about that?
Oh, I don't think the paper Magic can ever go away.
I agree, but just wanted to ask.
Yeah, it's just not the same. And I've also noticed that I'm much better when I'm sitting across from an opponent, playing and talking and doing all of these things. Whereas online, when it's just manipulating squares on your screen, it's so easy to make so many stupid mistakes.
Yeah, I'm like that. Well, I'm like that as well. I think I play better in the real life.
Yeah, you kind of feel the stakes more, like when you're at a tournament. Whereas, if you're just playing a video game, it's easy to get into the habit of just playing for.
Yeah. Also, in like real life, a lot of the times you just do all the turns super quickly, and then there is like an important turn, and you can take all the time you want.
Yes.
Whereas on Arena, you know, you just there is the thing, and you just even the turn is super hard, you still have to do it fast, which kind of sucks in that regard. Okay, awesome. Is there is like anything else you would like to talk about or say? Now is the time. I think we have about 20 minutes, which should be fine. But if there is like, you know, something more you want to talk about, now is the chance.
I don't know. What is your? Is it possible that I played against you during the last qualifier weekend? Did you?
It's certainly possible. I did play it. I played it.
Did you play the Gruul deck?
Yeah.
And did you lose? Well, for me, it was round 4 or 5.
I don't really remember, but I didn't do that.
Did you lose to a Mardo Doom deck?
It's very possible. So I lost to you. Wow, that's a dagger. Yeah, I think I went like something like 4-2 or 5-2 or something. I didn't do really well, so definitely possible.
That would match. Yeah, I actually was 5-1 at one point and then lost the last two.
Are you going to play the one next week as well? Because there is a qualifier the following weekend, I think.
Yeah, I think that is historic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I quite like the Kinnan Paradox Engine deck, and I've been playing that a bunch recently. But I don't.
Are you qualified? Can you actually play if you want to? Are you qualified for the tournament? Like if you want to play? Yeah. Okay.
I am.
Well, then you should give it a shot. The Paradox Engine deck is pretty good, I think.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I don't know whether I am going to play that, but I'm certainly going to play something but I don't trust this deck enough, or my ability with the deck enough for me to even, like, this weekend I didn't even enter the Arena Open because
Yeah. Are you just playing the mono brown version, or because I saw like some versions splashing for blue and stuff like that for like Emery and stuff, or just the regular mono brown?
No, it's always the green blue one. I'm
Green
playing
blue one?
like for over the. It's essentially based on what Kai played at the Zendika Rising Championship, but after that, that one didn't have, like, it has Emery and Kinnan, the one that doubles all your mana you get from Llanowar Elves and Mind Stone and so on. But then after the championship, Christoph Prince specifically, who I know because he's also writing for Card Market Insight, he's been working on a version that again included Khan, which Kai didn't have at the championship, and that seems to have gone through Twitter quite a bit, and I've seen a lot of people playing that, including Matt Ness and all the
I saw it on Twitter.
You would expect to like a KCI style deck, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I saw the deck on Twitter a lot, but I actually haven't faced it. Like, most of my opponents play just the mono brown version. So, you know, maybe it's just like our bubble. We are on Twitter a lot, so we just assume that everyone knows about it, but maybe just like regular people don't really follow that. So.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of people don't. Like, I've been playing against people who just conceded when I started doing my thing, but when I hadn't demonstrated a loop yet.
Well, awesome. I wish you the best for your work at Card Market. It was awesome to talk to you. Thank for your time. And hopefully, if Corona goes away, we will see each other at some event in the near future. But obviously, we don't know.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.